You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Ian, look at this.
What, it's a police box. What on earth's he doing here? Well, these things are usually on the street. Oh, feel it. Feel it, you feel it?
Faint vibration.
It's alive.
Earth Station Who, a fun mashup celebrating nearly 50 years of the Doctor Who universe. Hold tight. You never know where the TARDIS is going next.
You're probably a bit confused right now. I broke the glass. It's all come back to me.
What is this?
That's my ship.
What?
Let me take it from the top. Hello, I'm the Doctor. I'm a traveller in space and time. And that thing buried down there is called a TARDIS. Time and relative dimension in space. You're gonna love this.
Hey there, listeners, and welcome to another episode of the Earth Station Who podcast. That's right, folks. We are live, and we are here to talk all about the power of the Doctor, the new episode of Doctor Who, which bid farewell to the 13th Doctor and introduced the 14th Doctor, maybe kind of, sort of. We got a great crew here, and we are ready to start up and get going. Let's welcome our crew for this week. Of course, let's welcome Mr. Mike Gordon.
Howdy.
How are you, Mikey?
I am peachy keen and ready to talk about the end of an era and the beginning of a whole new beginning.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. And of course, let's welcome the lovely and talented Mary Ogle.
Hi, everybody. It is fantastic to be here.
It is great to have you here too, Mary. So good to see you. See both of you guys. It's awesome. We're live, folks. This is
wow, that hardly ever happens.
Oh, I know. Exactly. And we have a regeneration to talk about. So it'll be very interesting tonight.
Only for special occasions.
Only for special occasions, of course. And of course, let's welcome our guest for tonight. We couldn't do a live show without Melanie Dean, who's playing around with her sonic screwdriver.
Here I am. Hello.
Welcome.
It's a hint for later on in this episode.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Exactly. Oh,
it's very cool. So, how you been?
Very well. Yeah.
It is wonderful to see you again.
It's very good to see everybody here and live. Well, no, on top of that, I'm like, what? No, Facebook can only help out.
Oh, well, that's a whole different story. That is a whole different story. And of course, let's welcome our fifth member of the crew tonight. Kirby is back. Welcome, sir.
Hello.
He has his own TARDIS right behind him. It's pretty awesome.
Got two of them.
That is awesome. That is awesome, sir. It is good to see you guys. And this is going to be an interesting one. And of course, as always, if you are able to see this, I know we're having some issues up on Facebook. And, you know, hopefully we'll be able to get some comments through our YouTube channel and such. And of course, as always, we definitely would love to hear from you guys at home. Feedback at earthstationwho.com is the way to get in touch with us, or, just, send us a message and such. It's always great to be able to talk, your thoughts and everything, because we're going to be talking all about the power of the Doctor. Let us know as we say farewell to the 13th Doctor. It's going to be a ton of fun on that one. So definitely, folks, this is going to be an interesting one. We have a lot of ground to cover tonight. So I thought about, should we do some Doctor Who news or stuff? But we'll get to that. Let's do that at the end of the show.
This is the news.
Yeah, this is the news. We had a brand new episode, folks. This is pretty awesome. So it's good to talk to people. We actually have some lots of Doctor Who stuff to be able to see what we got going on. And it's just, I watched it finally last night, and because weekends happen, and and you just can't sit there and wait till BBC America shows it and then go, oh, sorry, I know we have relatives in town, but Doctor Who is on. They just don't get that. So, but it's it was interesting, and we got to oh, by the way, if you haven't seen this episode yet, folks, we are going to spoil the hell out of it. So saying that first right up in the front. This is a battle royal, my friends. This is a total battle royal.
We are going everywhere and beyond.
Exactly. We got to see, there was actually a lot of surprises in this one, and I'm going to go right out and say it right from the beginning. Chris Chibnall had to have some help with this one, because it was a better story than I was expecting. And there was weak points in it. There were things that you had in this story that just made you go, huh? What? But it was exactly. But it was entertaining. There was a lot of throwback to old series. There was a lot of throwback to just different eras of Doctor Who. And I ended the show for a Chibnall episode with a grin on my face. So I thought that was pretty darn amazing. So, take that for what you will out there.
Just because you were just grinning because the Chibnall era is officially over now?
Because Chibnall is gone.
Look at that. What are we, like 5 minutes in? Bashing begins?
Yeah, 6 minutes and 6 seconds into the show, folks.
Yeah.
That's not
Sure, the final words were written by RTD.
Yeah, of course.
And directed by Rachel Talalay.
Well, there you go. It was interesting, and we started off with this space train heist. And was that supposed to be like the same train system that was in the Orient Express episode with the 12th Doctor?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think it had any tie-in.
Okay.
Same here.
It was just kind of a cool space train.
Okay.
Bullet train.
A bullet train in space.
Space bullet train.
Mm-hmm. The only thing it was missing was Ladybug. Got it. Not many people get that reference, but it's okay. Not many people saw that movie. So, but it was an interesting thing. You had the Doctor and Yaz and Dan, coming to the rescue, and Dan was very brief in this. I was actually really surprised.
Mm-hmm.
I was,
He got kicked out, in like the first 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I don't even think he made 15 minutes in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand what that was all about.
It was like that was the straw that broke his back to go, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm hopping off. And I was like,
enough.
That was it? I'm like,
not
usually...
being struck, not being trapped by angels at the beginning of the 20th century or something.
Thank you. Because I'm like, okay, well, I guess. I mean, his face mask had broken, but I don't recall him having like problems, breathing problems. I was like, oh okay, bye.
Yeah, it was very abrupt. There was no lead up to it, but then what's new about that in this era?
Exactly.
Well,
I think
no lead up. Not only no lead up, but just like it's just things happen. And this is very typical. Things happen because Chibnall needs them to happen. They don't happen because story wise.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And I don't know why that needed to happen. But yeah.
Because they only had him to film one day, or
maybe.
Although
this felt like it was multiple days, really. But
get rid of Dan.
Yeah, exactly.
Train heist.
Yeah. I think Chibnall was watching the first episode of Firefly or something like that, with the space side. It's like, ooh, that would be a great thing to do. So
for 5 minutes. Exactly.
But there were so many things in this, that were like, why the heck did they do this? Why did they put this in here? Why did they throw it in there? And it was very, very interesting that they did it the whole thing, the whole thing on the planet with whatever Nider, I think his name is, or the one
Louis
from
the
Game of
Vampire?
Thrones.
Vinder?
Louis the Vampire. Yeah, exactly.
Vinder?
Vinder.
Yeah.
And it's like, why
Oh, yeah.
was he there? That was completely unnecessary.
There was no reason for him to be there. Just
No.
they just brought him back for whatever.
Don't you think it's interesting that there's 3 male characters, companions that are in this, and they mean nothing?
Nope.
Yes, I did notice that.
they're all three. Yeah, all 3 male characters in this have nothing to do with anything.
I
Like
mean,
if they're
is
not
that-
in this, nothing changes whatsoever.
Maybe that's karma for
I don't
50
know
years
if that's
of female companions having nothing to do, but
I don't know if that's a conscious decision or just
Well, we spent so much time where is he going to get back with is him and his girl going to get reunited? And then he's
just
on
him.
a plane that decided to go on through a wormhole because I made it. I don't know where I'm
Because
at, but I'm
Doctor
here
Who.
now.
Come on, yeah.
yeah, and I mean, this is very typical of Chris Chibnall's sort of kitchen sink approach
Yeah.
to these kind of stories where he just throws everything in, whether it needs to be there or not, with no transitions, with no clear plot line. I wish he would just calm the frack down.
Yeah,
Just
but he spent
maybe pick one plot line and a subplot, and that's it.
But he spent a good 2 minutes, having the master dance around Daleks and Cybermen singing "Rah Rah Rasputin."
And the Cyberman and the Dalek look at each other like, "What on
What the
earth?" And I'm
hell?
feeling with it what they're going with.
I'm on their side in that scene.
Yeah, the one time you agree with the Cybermen and the Daleks.
I mean, if they had just,
agree with them.
whipped out the guns and shot, I thought, well, they were kind of justified in this point.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They would have, oh, we are not amused, something like that. But yeah, it was interesting. Kudos to the master. I enjoyed him immensely in this episode.
Yeah, I think this was Sacha Dhawan's best performance as the
Yes,
master.
I agree with that
Yeah.
by far.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He reined it in, and it worked
he
so
did.
much better.
Oh, and there was times I felt like he was channeling Delgado in parts. In this.
Yes, I
absolutely.
noticed that too.
Yeah.
And in a very
Especially-
good way.
Oh, exactly. Especially when he was, Rasputin, and it was awesome. And he,
It's an interesting concept, but once again, goes nowhere.
no,
Yeah, what was the point?
what was the
Yeah.
whole point for him to be Rasputin? For him to just have the Crystal Palace or the Winter Palace, so he can capture the Doctor there.
Yeah, all of that could have been at any time in history. Why was it there?
Yeah.
I just did not like the master being a historical figure. I didn't like him being Rasputin. I like my doctors. I like everyone kind of interacting with all historical figures, but I personally didn't like him being Rasputin because it didn't make sense to me. I mean, I love Sacha Dhawan. He's not 6'4", and it had to be 1916. I was kind of in that. This is the year Rasputin dies. I'm sure that they're gonna, and during the Great War, they're gonna tie something in. No, he's just at the palace dancing around.
Sorry.
No.
That's it. I'm like,
Why?
but it got
Yeah.
better after that.
Yes, Rasputin
Yeah,
Master is dead. He's dead.
I was, as dead as anything is.
On
You're right.
Doctor
Yeah. Well, don't worry. The master will be back.
Yeah, Master would be back. And it does seem, on the one hand, I did think that's an interesting idea to have the Mad Monk be actually the Master, but they don't do anything with it. And Melanie, to your point, it kind of like that would be. I'm surprised that meeting between the Doctor and Rasputin hasn't happened yet in the whole franchise, and that's a missed opportunity now because he's kind of burned that bridge, so you can't do that now.
I mean,
Or theoretically, you could.
Oh, you could.
Sure.
Because when I first thought, when they were showing Rasputin, I was thinking, oh, they're going to probably, because it was 1916, I'm like, ooh, damn you, Chibnall, you've started raising the bar for me. I'm thinking, oh, this will make sense why he was so hard to kill. No, didn't even touch that.
No.
Like, okay, let's dance around.
Yeah, exactly.
Dance around.
But he danced to an awesome song. Come on, you know.
I like Mary's response. You could and signifying that I think every showrunner from here on out is just going to be like, Chibnall error. What was that? I don't remember that. That doesn't. Was that this? Chibnall did the show? Really? When was that?
Yeah. Well, if you want to go by that, you know. There was nothing about Flux. There was nothing about half the universe being destroyed. There was nothing about the Timeless Child or the Fob Watch.
I thought that the one child, the creature that was disguised as a child, I thought at first when I saw the child, I thought, oh, we're doing Timeless Child.
That's what he wants you to think.
You would think.
That was the red herring.
Nope.
Oh,
haha, fooled you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Chibnall's like, they're expecting this. I'll just make it into a tentacle creature. Ha 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 ha.
Mostly because I can't think of what to do with the Timeless Child. So.
I think that's more it. He's just like, you know what? I never knew what I was doing, so I'm not gonna wrap it up because I wouldn't even know how to begin doing that.
Yeah, and honestly, I can't complain because I was hoping for that. I was hoping that we had so many loopholes and unfinished strings everywhere. I was actually kind of hoping, so I can't complain, that Chibnall wasn't going to try tying a lot of these things up. It was just going to be like, you know what? Let's let a better writer later on, whether it's next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, they can mull over what on earth I had built. Maybe they can fix it because I can't write myself out of these holes.
I'm pretty sure the only folks that are going to touch that is our Big Finish.
Yeah, we'll ignore it the way that we ignore the Teletubby Daleks.
Or we'll ignore the Doctor being half human, or the Doctor, you know, all this kind of stuff.
As a mother's side.
Or Eric Roberts being the master at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, my overall feeling about this episode was it could have been worse.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, to be fair, I was pretty much entertained, at least most of the way through. I didn't keep looking at the clock or anything.
No, I never did. For a Chibnall episode that was an hour and 25 minutes.
But I mean, most BBC, of that really, for me anyway, was because he serves a distraction with all the nostalgia and stunt casting and stunt appearances.
Yeah, true.
I mean, if that's not there, then this is awful. But
no, you're right. Those are the best parts.
Because they're there. You're like, I don't care what actually is going on. I just like seeing Ace again. I don't care what's going on. I just seen all these appearances by whatever doc. Not just what was really nice about that, not just seeing the companions, not just seeing the doctors and that weird sort of after regenerate or midway point in regenerations or whatever that was, but then teaming the doctors with their companions.
Yeah.
That reuniting them for just a few minutes was so special.
It was great.
So special.
It was awesome.
I agree.
When he
that was
said,
one of the best parts about it,
Absolutely. And the drama between it is what am I thinking now? Adric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's oh,
I'm really? No, nobody thinks of Adric. It's
I saw a comment.
That was the last thing I expected him to say. I was like, that's right.
I saw a comment online today. Someone said, we're going to have to explain to all these new Who people who Adric was, but
it's called Google.
They don't care. It's a throwaway line.
Yeah.
It's called Google.
Matter.
Now, I was watching with my oldest daughter, who she's 29, but she loves classic Who better than new Who, and she loved the whole thing with all the throwbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can understand that because I really loved that part of it too. And Tegan and Ace were actually given agency. I mean, they both went and did things that actually contributed to the little bit of plot there was. And I appreciated that.
And Ace hides a lot of stuff in Unit. She has this everywhere.
Yes, she does.
Doesn't everyone?
I applauded when that baseball bat came out.
Oh, sure. I just wish you got a chance to use it against the Cybermen. I was like, we've already seen you use it against the Dalek. That's been done. But like, let's see her pound the crap out of a Cyberman. But we never got that. So
yeah, actually, Barbara Ogle, a certain family member of one of our co-hosts here, said, "Thank God they stayed away from the child. Best to ignore it."
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. At this point, even he's ignoring it.
Yeah. It's bad when he does.
But so I think it's very similar to another anniversary story, which is like the Five Doctors, which is a mess of a story, but like it's so cool seeing all the Doctors and their companions again.
Right.
And you get to see them for a long time in those, and so it's not as cool in this because you don't get to spend enough time with all the teams, but there's still that thing going on where it does. And I mean, we haven't even talked about the best part, man. Graham returned. Come on, man.
Well, that's what I was about to. That's on my notes.
Graham returned and does what he always does. He tried to Graham-splain to a female character what was going on and undermine what she was doing. I was like, yes, Graham, you go ahead and keep doing that.
I loved when he showed her the psychic paper and it was like, volcanic inspector. And he says, no, you're Graham and you're a friend of the doctor. I love that. That was awesome. But I did love seeing Ace and Tegan. Ace and Tegan were awesome in this. And, and I was never a huge Tegan fan, but I actually really enjoyed her in this. And she actually did more than, what she ever did in the Fifth Doctor era, in this episode.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing as she was doing that. I was thinking, wow, this is like the most she's ever got to do.
Other than being possessed by a snake.
I did have one problem with Tegan's characterization in this, in that she seems to have this anger at being left. She left the Doctor voluntarily.
She did. After the Dalek story, she did.
Yeah, she walked out on him.
She wasn't angry at being left. She was angry that he had not contacted her at all over the years.
Well, Tegan's always got to have something to be mad about. I mean, she's always angry about something. So that's just who she is.
And it was neat to see them and see how they've grown and everything. I wish they would have gone a little bit more into like some of what Ace has been doing for the last, 30 years or something. And, Tegan, they went a little bit in, that she adopted a child and that she, has been married and, stuff like that and been roaming the earth or something. But it was just interesting to see. And I will say this, I liked both of their interactions with Jodie was awesome. I liked it. And when they saw that she was a woman, it was just like, what? That's
a good look for you, Professor.
I like that.
That was a great line.
That was awesome.
Great moment.
They could have at least brought up, remember the Sarah Jane, where Ace was mentioned as having started this foundation. They could have mentioned that. But nope.
No.
Well, that's what's kind of I was referring to when that they didn't talk about that, and it's like because Chibnall of course went, I don't remember any of that. Sorry. And,
it was also her last book, At Childhood's End. She put a lot of that in there.
That's right,
and that's an official Doctor Who book, but Chib's going to do what Chib's going to do. It's cool.
Yeah.
Good old Chibnall. We love the guy. Okay, sorry, I couldn't say it. I couldn't even stomach that one.
You tried so valiantly.
Sorry. I tried so hard,
You really did.
I really did. I did it. I almost did it. What did you guys think of, Jodie was awesome in this. I loved her. Yaz still didn't do anything for me in this. She had a fairly large role. She was flying the frippin' TARDIS everywhere. She had almost better control about it than any of the older doctors ever did.
Yeah, they were amazed at her. Like he lets you drive it. Like what? And I loved that the master automatically assumed that she had no idea how to use a gun, which was which she corrected. Although I wish she'd shot him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of
I wish she wouldn't keep taking her head. She held it and then kept doing this to talk to Jodie. And I'm like,
right.
A police officer would never take their eye off the perp. No, ever.
And she did it repeatedly to the point where I was like, are you going to even try? Oh, okay, whatever. Shoot him. Accidentally shoot him.
Exactly. Oops, I grazed him. No, exactly. But, I did like it that Jodie was point on in this. I thought she was awesome. I loved when she was talking to the other doctors, and I loved how, they didn't try to de-age them or anything. They showed them as is. And I loved it when McGann's the eighth doctor showed up and he wasn't wearing a robe, and they were like, why aren't you wearing a robe? I don't do robes.
And Seven even goes, there's always one in the group.
Exactly.
I did find it odd though that Jodie gets hijacked in her very last story for about good 20 minutes. We don't see her because the master is inhabiting her and wearing, a hodgepodge of doctor outfits, which is fun. But, Sasha's doing a great job, but I'm kind of like, man, I would love to see the reverse. Let's see Jodie act like the master for a little while. That would be fun, but we don't get that.
No, exactly. It was interesting because, like you said, it was her last episode. You would think that she would be the main point of attention, and she, was taken over by the master. And I thought he did a bang up job as the doctor. And, I'm going to ruin your name. I'm going to, make everyone, fear the doctor. And I thought that was brilliant. I liked that, but there was no teeth behind it.
I actually think it would have worked. It would have made a lot more sense if it had been Jodie as the master, or Jodie as the doctor, but really being inhabited by the master.
Yes,
that would have been. That would have made more sense to be ruining her reputation. Number one.
Yeah. Oh, exactly.
And number two, I think the whole. Oh, we're going to regenerate. I'm going to regenerate into your body makes zero sense at all. I mean, him somehow taking over her mind or somehow inhabiting her, but still looking like Jodie makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, they called it a forced regeneration, but it seemed more like a body swap.
It wasn't a forced regeneration. That actually made no sense at all to me.
You're right, because I think if it was Jodie acting like the master, I think you would have even seen the conflict in Yaz trying to wrap her mind around that that's the master in there. That's not my friend. That's not the person I love,
I mean, I feel like Chibnall just ruined this perfect opportunity. That would have given him all kinds of things to play with, and character motivation and conflict.
It's kind of his MO.
It is.
and it would have looked awesome with, Jodie doing that, because she has the chops to be able to play a character like that.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure she could have done that.
Absolutely.
And that would have blown this episode out of the water, and it would have been like, oh yeah, he's definitely had people helping him write this one because he couldn't have done that.
No, he didn't do it. So we're right and he's wrong. So there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
he's done a disservice to her entire era. So there's no reason to think that in the last couple of hours he's going to make up for that. So,
well, question for you guys though. We saw the master as Rasputin, and, but then you also saw the master in 2022 at unit headquarters without the beard and the long hair. Was he going back and throwing the wig back on or stuff, or was it out of context, out of order?
Well, they can both exist at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. You can be in 1916 and in present day at the same time.
Right. But going back and forth.
He doesn't have to go, but he doesn't have to physically go back and forth. He's already there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but within his own timeline, which one was he? Was Rasputin happening before his volcanologist part, or did he do the volcanologist? Man, now Chibnall. You know what?
You're thinking in a linear way, and that's not how it works. It's not a line. So he can be in 1916 and 2022 at the same. Well, I hate to say the same time.
It's not the same
exist
time. Yeah.
In the same space. In both those timelines.
I had my Chibnall mind on. I was just like, I don't know.
He just said, I'll just have them both at the same part. No one's going to pay attention to that part anyway. Come on,
please.
I mean, it doesn't really matter in the long run because Chibnall wouldn't have even thought of that.
Don't think about these two things too hard because you'll just end up hurting yourself.
I know that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth it, Melanie. It's not worth it.
Where's my
Shannon over on Facebook said it's all timey-wimey anyway. So, there you go.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. What the answer is? Because Chibnall. Like, that's the answer.
And then that whole thing with the Dalek who was betraying, the other Daleks and, trying to lure the Doctor into the trap. And it was just like, really? You knew it was a trap? It was like, duh.
And it was an honest Dalek, even though he'd gotten the ice stalk had like the chunks missing, and clearly this Dalek has seen some stuff, and it was like, you know what, I'm a changed Dalek. I'm gonna go find the Doctor and destroy all of us. Like, what?
The one.
You know what? Fine,
Dalek.
we're going for this ride.
The one out of a billion, yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, but and then you had the Cyber Time Lords again, or the Master Cyber.
I hate that whole plot line so much.
Well, I think that we've gotten rid of them, so
yeah.
I think
that basically means all the Time Lords are gone. They've destroyed all the Time Lords again.
It's happened before.
For now. For now.
Bring it back somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they can still regenerate. So I did think that was cool when they were taking down the Cybermen in the beginning and they were regenerating, so they were coming back to life. I thought, okay, I get that. That's fun. And I don't mind them so much, but I don't certainly want to see that continue.
Mm-hmm. I don't
exactly. See, the two Masters exist at the same time. Hence, 2022 Master still exists until time catches up that he's dead.
Nope, I've decided I'm not going to give it a second thought.
Nope. Okay. Mike Gordon has laid down the
because Chibnall. I any way you slice it, it doesn't. Yeah.
No, that makes sense because I'm still I loved Sacha Dhawan's portrayal of the Master, especially towards the end part of this. But I like to say after the Rasputin dance, that's the part where I really like this. But I'm still stuck on why did you bring the Master back after Missy? And I'm still stuck on how did the Master come back after Missy? So now I'm like, is the Master gone? Was he on the planet that
there's been so many times where
the Master has appeared like magically like that throughout the whole run.
Yeah, exactly. That's not a new thing. Like he just you think he's dead, you think he's whatever, but he pops back.
He always comes back. Yeah.
I'm just hoping RTD just is like, you know what? We're not going to do the Master for a little bit. We're just going to be fine with this. Bring someone else.
I think so. Yeah. Well,
I mean, he may do that, but I bet you at some point he'll be back.
Oh, goodness.
Knowing RTD, he'll be bringing Johnson back again.
Probably.
Oh, God.
No.
He's bringing everyone else back. Come on.
He's getting the band back together.
It'll be very interesting to see. Possibly
did everybody already know that David Tennant was going to appear, or was that a surprise for anybody?
I had heard the rumor. In fact, that morning, was it that morning, Mike, that we talked?
No, the day before. We talked the day before.
And I told you that I heard the rumor.
Yes. No, I had.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a surprise.
It was a surprise to me. I mean, I knew he was going to be in the next special because of all the footage with him and Bernard Cribbins and Catherine Tate. I knew I knew David Tennant was going to be in the next one, but I didn't know he was going to be the 14th Doctor. So that was. I was really prepped. I was really prepped to go to usher in and welcome the new Doctor, and then getting David. Why I can understand why people are really upset, and I can understand why people are really happy, because I'm kind of torn on that as well. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what he does with it. But it was definitely a signal that we are going back to an era. Because, I mean, we get that, that traditional David Tennant 10th Doctor ending where he's like, what? Like that's the way, all of his seasons ended.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's interesting, though, with that, because, most when the Doctor regenerates, the next Doctor is usually still in that Doctor's clothes. But when 13 regenerated into 14, I'm using air quotes with that, the costume changed also.
And I don't know if that's a nod from 1 to going into 2, because Troughton had changed his clothes. Right. But I just figured from that point on, they just kind of ignored that and was like, that was like
every regeneration has done something a little different, though. So I don't know. I don't put a lot of. I mean, it could be, but I don't put a lot into that. I just wonder. I mean, you said you said 14 in quotes, and I know that I think the BBC has officially said he's 14, but it's like, is it really 14 or is it 10 again?
10 number 4.
10 number 4.
10 4.
Yeah, 10. The regenerated 10. 10-2, or the Metacrisis 10. So 10 the 4th.
Or it could be Dr. Hand or whatever, There's so many different things. And,
Although, when Jodie... I don't know if this is really spoilery.
We've already said spoilers at the beginning. Go for it.
Well, at the last, so at the latest one where they were showing off that, hey, this is gonna be the new episode, and that they had Jodie going, I don't what's going on. He's wearing the same tie as 10-4, or whatever you want to call him. So
10-4?
It's that same 10-4.
That's right, good buddy.
10 the 3rd, 10-3. I don't know.
I hadn't noticed that. I was.
He's wearing the same tie, and at one point when he was going, what the heck, what? He does open up the blue trench coat, and you can see he's just wearing a vest. He's not wearing a jacket underneath there, so it clearly is a completely different costume than his 10 version 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just no Chibnall, so I'm happy. I'm hopeful.
You're hopeful.
Well, we just have to wait a year until we find out, right?
Only a year.
You know what? I'm willing to wait a year again if we can just get back onto a schedule. Please let us get back onto a schedule.
That's the question
when they showed that
year, or are they going to have them earlier?
No, it said November 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah. No New Year special.
No New Year special.
No
nothing. And it's interesting too with that, because then you heard, a whole world of Doctor Who podcasters scream when they saw that. We have to fill a year
again.
Yeah, I'm going to say, is it any different than the last 2 or 3 years? Yeah.
I mean,
everybody.
A year is kind of short the way things sometimes.
Yeah, Big Finish is like, yes. They're like, yes.
I mean, it would be great if RTD would do like some webisodes, or something during the year, which he actually used to do.
Yeah,
he did
back in the day. So. Maybe we'll at least get some content.
And we're going to Disney Plus, so maybe we will have more of that multiversal, lots of content, extra stuff, special presentations, that kind of thing.
Well, you might get, a thing, that they did years ago. I think it was during one of Matt's regeneration years or something like that. When they did the Best of Doctor Who, when it was first coming back to BBC, when it was coming to BBC America, they showed like the best story of each Doctor up to, and then introduced the newest Doctor and everything like that. So there's a possibility it could be something, they might do something like that, but who knows? You don't know. But we got a really cool new logo, so it's pretty cool.
I'm wondering if HBO
new
Max
old logo.
If HBO Max is going to be losing everything when it shifts over.
It is.
I would think so. Yeah.
They're losing all going to be on Disney Plus,
and BBC America's losing it.
From what I hear, even the new episodes when they come back next year is going to be Disney Plus. It's not going to be BBC America anymore. But the odds are there's not going to even be an HBO Max a year from now. Anyway. So, good old Warner Brothers. If you want to hear us talk about that, listen to this new episode of
it's true. I know we're talking about the future and stuff, and I can understand we want to move on, but I do want to point out, at least for me personally, despite the fact that Chibnall's stories make no sense, despite the fact that, there's a lot that I don't like, at the end of the day, or I should say at the end of the episode, when she's regenerating, and they do a wonderful job of cross-cutting that with the former companions meeting and talking.
The companion support group was awesome.
And I started to get really emotional on both cases. And then when I saw Ian, I friggin' lost it.
Yeah.
I was like this, I'd seen so many of the others before doing this, that, and the other thing, but this is the first time we've seen Ian in ages, and he's been around. It's like, why? I've always yelled, why don't you use him? And granted, he doesn't do a lot here. And he's of a certain age, and
he's 97
that's why,
years old. He's 97.
Exactly. I understand that, but it's like, but just seeing him again and having that acknowledgement and that idea. And I just thought it was really beautifully done. So by the time that she did regenerate, I was really moved, and I was actually thinking I'm going to miss her.
Very much so. I thought the regeneration scene was beautiful. I thought it was very,
that was really well done.
Did you see that the place that? Did you see that the place where they filmed that is objecting because they think people are going to climb up there and reproduce the regeneration? And I saw a joke post earlier today.
Go there and reproduce what?
What? Really?
They're going to want to. They're afraid people are going to try to climb Dirtle Door and get up there.
I saw a joke post earlier today that Jodrell Bank is objecting because people are going to climb there and fall off the telescope to regenerate.
You know what? If they do, go for it.
Jump off buildings like Ace in a backpack parachute.
And they won't have a TARDIS.
Wait a second. How did Tegan survive that fall down?
I don't know. She actually let go
and you see nothing. She's just fine.
Yeah, she's fine because it was only 5 feet, but they're not telling you that.
Well, it's like they're floating above the train. They've turned off the magnetics. They're floating above the train, and all of a sudden, they're inside the train.
Yep. Because doctors.
My daughter said that
that's Chris Chibnall.
Yeah,
my daughter said that Tegan might have been wearing the parachute. I don't think she was, though.
I don't think she was.
I don't remember her.
She left it on.
It was after I watched.
And it wouldn't have worked anyway.
No
shaft.
No.
Any inconsistencies or problems with the plot, just say because Chibnall and just move on. Because you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna cause yourself some serious pain if you keep thinking about these.
Because most of the scenes at unit headquarters or whatever it was a waste. I thought that whole scene. Hell, I thought Kate Stewart was a waste in this episode, and I loved the character. There's a lot of that they could do with her, but I thought, that was another force down your throat. You didn't need to see her there.
I really like the scene between her and the confronting the cyber leader guy there. I really thought that was a pretty well done scene, and so I did appreciate that.
Oh,
Yeah, actually, I thought that was a nice
Asher, what? Yeah,
I can't remember his name, but
Asher, I think is
Asher.
But it's nice. I thought that actually was a nice moment where she's sacrificing herself for probably
for what? Because she didn't know, Yeah.
Well, no, but you never know when you're sacrificing yourself in that situation. You just hope you're making a difference, and she knew there was nothing else she could do.
Because Chibnall, drag Chibnall.
Yeah, there could be another hashtag that's not as user friendly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. There was just some scenes that were like a lot of the extra characters were wasted, and it's like I would have liked to have seen more just with the Doctor and more with Yaz, and it was interesting though too because it was great seeing Graham again. It was awesome seeing Graham.
Who thought they were going to kiss?
Yeah, they had chemistry right off the gate. And he asking her age. I was like, Graham.
No. I'm talking about Yaz and the Doctor. Like they got really close towards the end there.
While they were eating ice cream with her glowing hand.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then even that they just kind of like dropped. Like we're gonna go. Not even that long kind of Yaz having an unrequited thing. They just dropped that too.
It kind of came out of nowhere in the first place. So
I'm not having. I'm not.
May as well just end it.
But I'm just
nowhere.
pointing to that another one of those. So you just went. Chibnall just went.
Well, the explanation I have for that is that she saw how other companions were basically ignored by the Doctor for so long that she realized that's going to happen to her.
She came to her senses.
It was an interesting reaction when she saw the other two. When she saw Tegan and Ace and was introduced, like, oh my God, I'm not like the first. Like, I think she knew that she wasn't the first.
As I thought I was.
Yeah, she's like, oh, and they haven't heard from the Doctor in 30 some years, whatever. So yeah, that's. So I think there's a lot going on there, but obviously, Kirby, you and I are putting much more thought into it than Chibnall. Wow, like every sentence, I'm dissing him, right?
You guys are bringing me down on the story for now because I liked it.
Oh no, I mean, I honestly loved the heck out of this. I rated this thing a 9.
Right. It's got like so many. It still has Chibnall issues.
Oh, sure. It does.
I don't think anybody expected it not to.
Yeah. No, some can point that this was extremely fan servicey. You know what? I was good with it.
I'll take it.
I was excited.
Exactly. As a fan, I fully accept that.
I enjoyed it, and I
did. I'm actually going to be watching it again probably after we record tonight because it was too late for Judy to stay up to watch it, so I'll watch it with her. And
this is actually one I could watch again, which I've not said about a lot of Chibnalls. Mm-hmm. But I could watch this one again and still enjoy it. Even with all the problems with it, it still was fun.
Yeah, I've seen it twice now, and I enjoyed it as much as the second time.
No, exactly. And I'm looking forward to, it's getting me excited now for waiting a year to the next one. So I'm hoping they'll surprise us and, come back sooner, but we'll see. I liked the idea of, looking in the subconscious and, about the forced regeneration and, don't go over the chasm where there is no coming back, type thing. And so it was just, it was interesting with her.
Apparently come back and sit on the cliffside and talk to your former self.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
or you can magically appear as a hologram.
Well, speaking of the hologram, we got with Joe Martin back.
Yeah, that was cool, actually. I like that moment.
Oh, I loved it when
Where is she in the
in.
timeline? Do we know?
Nope. We don't know. And
we saw her today.
at the risk of getting us all hurt again by thinking about something too much. It's like if the hologram was responding to the person who was viewing it, it made no sense for Joe to be the doctor in that scene because nobody who was looking at her remembered her, or knew her as the doctor. So that's because the master didn't know who she was. Even Yaz didn't know who she was, and I thought that was weird.
Well, why? She never saw her as the doctor.
I guess not.
She said the last time I saw you, you were a tour guide.
I thought she saw her in Flux.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, only the doctor saw her in Flux.
Gotcha.
We're uncovering more plot holes. No.
And
You're
again,
gonna be hurting Melanie's head.
It's just a tease. Like he's just going, yeah, this is all stuff that was going to be part of the Timeless Child thing, and you think I'm going to resolve that, but I'm not.
No.
The child was cargo, and the cargo was a space light spaghetti thing. Y'all had a red herring. It was a red herring.
See, I didn't think that they needed to have, the energy wave or whatever hit the doctor to force the regeneration. I would have liked to have seen that maybe the doctor was so weak after the forced regeneration that, she couldn't hold, that it would, her body just gave out and that it caused the regeneration, the real regeneration instead of the forced.
Yeah. If you think about it, the master beat her twice. And I didn't care for that at all. Because, he forced her into the forced regeneration or body switch or whatever. And she didn't have any control over that. And ultimately he blasted and sort of quote unquote killed her. And he won both times. There was only by chance that somebody else, involvement got her back. And I don't care for that. I think the doctor should beat the master every time. And this time, this was really the master. This was more of a master story than it was a doctor story. Thanks, Chris, for giving that, for Jodie's last episode, for doing that to her, for undermining her yet again. I mean, it does make me mad. I do get angry about that sort of thing because I just think she deserves so much better.
She does. She did. And it was just poor writing. And it was, just the easy way out. And let's throw all this stuff in that the fans will go, ooh, this is great. This is awesome. But, if you wanted to explore it and such, it was just meh, overall.
I have heard that, one of my criticisms during the whole run of Jodie is that she didn't play a character that was always the smartest one in the room. A lot of times she had to play catch up or just get by doing improv things or just quote unquote get lucky. And a lot of people like that. A lot of people don't like the doctor being like Sherlock Holmes or whatever, being the smartest person in the room and having the answer to everything. I get it. It can be abused, but I prefer that doctor than one that has no idea what's going on and gets beat time and time again.
Although in this, when she's repairing, what's his name, ship, she's going, I'm a great engineer.
Yeah.
We'll just call him Louis from now on. It'll be okay.
It was fun seeing that side of her again because we hadn't seen that side. I think that was something that we saw in the first Dalek episode.
That was kind of a nice callback.
Yeah, that was a nice callback. And I did appreciate that. It happened way too fast.
Hence, it was all Chibnall.
It was all Chibnall all along.
Exactly.
I agree that it did turn into more of a master story, which was unfortunate, but also a symptom of Jodie's whole run, like you were saying.
Absolutely.
That she was constantly being undermined.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. And it was interesting because you wanted to see her character be, save the day, which she did, but she was not the one in control of it. It was always the master was in control. It was always like a couple steps ahead. of the Doctor.
Multiple steps ahead. And it's okay at the beginning for that to happen. But, there were 2 times, especially during the forced regeneration thing, like I thought, okay, she's got some sort of plan. And the hologram thing kind of is a plan, but it was so clunky a device that I didn't really buy it as she really knew what was going on. Like, she really should have been able to figure out what his plan was. But even after she comes back, she's trying to figure out what he's doing. And we just don't usually see the Doctor struggle with things like that.
No, you don't. And it was interesting, too, because, the whole thing with, like, when the Master was sitting above that the 2 planets, which were firing missiles at each other. Mm-hmm. What planets? At first, I thought that was Earth.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was like, see, this is your fault. They know it's your fault. I'm like, well, they're all going to be blown up into oblivion, so who cared? But
exactly.
What? Did we just have a special effect clip that we needed to use or something?
I have money to spend.
we borrowed this from George Lucas. It's okay.
Chibnall's like, they gave me money for this last special.
They borrowed the X-Wing from George Lucas.
Yeah, right.
So I hated that whole scene, that first scene on the metal planet, because it's just an info dump. You don't even, she's just standing there explaining, oh, it's a Curex and it does blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. We've said this about Chibnall many times. The first precept of being a writer is show, not tell. And he's terrible about that. You don't just get this your second scene. Don't just give us this huge meaningless info dump. It just undercuts the whole integrity of the scene.
Well, we don't have to worry about him again.
No. Nope.
No. But I mean, there was some. I like I said, as mad as it made me, some of it, and it was typical Chibnall. So I knew going in that it was going to be Chibnall. Like, I wasn't kidding myself thinking this last gasp, he's going to produce something like golden. I was just glad that we got all the nostalgia. I mean, if it hadn't been an anniversary episode, maybe he wouldn't have had the money and maybe we wouldn't have had all the nostalgia and callbacks, because I'm glad that we did. Because, for all people saying, like, there's a lot of fan service in this. If you take away the fan service, you don't have much. I appreciated the fan service, and like I said, when it ended, I had all the feels. It worked on that level. It worked, so I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. I felt more for this regeneration than I did when Capaldi turned into Jodie. It was like I liked this one. This one was like, tag, you're it. And I was like, I loved it. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And everything. I actually was like, and for me to do that, and it wasn't allergies. So it was pretty cool.
Her regeneration was very hopeful. She wasn't sad or depressed or anything like that. She was just,
I don't want to go.
Well, exactly.
Did anyone see the YouTube video BBC put out the day before of all the regenerations? 25-minute long video.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's true. So, interesting. We got a message from our friend Mike Faulkner. He, this is a little bit of a long one. He said his downsides was the overstuffed plot, as usual. The Cybermen invasion of Unit was a drag, especially since Kate and Unit really didn't do much. Vinder's role felt like an afterthought. No resolution to the Fob Watch or the Timeless Child. Damn it, Chibnall. The things he liked about it. He said he liked the experimentation with the Master becoming the Doctor. I give Chibnall a lot of credit for trying something like that, even if it wasn't predictable. It wasn't perfect. I love the double cross with Joe Martin's Doctor. Hopefully the fugitive Doctor See You Around actually comes to something. The Purgatory waiting room was neat, especially seeing 5, 6, and 7 and 8 again. I also love seeing the 5 and Tegan and 7 and Ace connection, which was awesome. That was like, those were just awesome. Especially in resolving the conflicts between them. I love the companion support group. I'm surprised that it hasn't been thought of before. Cybermasters are done, hopefully forever, though I wonder what next comes for Gallifrey because Chibnall has left it in shambles. Not the first person to do that. So it's okay.
Not worried about it.
No. The regeneration. It wasn't terribly surprising. They could have laid better breadcrumbs than getting whammied by a superpowered squiggly creature like that. The force, like what I said, like what the force regeneration and reversal took a great toll on her body and led it to something. I'm eager to see what RTD has in store for his 14th ? Doctor. Why this form and why now? Overall, not perfect final, but not terrible either. Kind of like the majority of Chibnall's run. I'm eager to see what I think of it when I get back to it for the Time Steps project in a couple of years. So, good job, Michael. Thank you, Michael Faulkner. So, very awesome. So, it'll be very interesting to see what everything comes to, and I'm curious, what you guys think. Let's go ahead and rate this. 1 out of 5 TARDISes. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Kirby, I'm letting you go first tonight.
Oh, thanks. Wasn't the best. It was better than most Chibnall, except for 2 other stories. 3.5.
Okay. Melanie.
I'm going to go... I'm in between a 4 and a 4.5 because this is one where, unlike a lot of the other Chibnall ones, I want to rewatch this, and this is the second time I've rewatched it. And unfortunately, every time I've between the first time I was like when we were doing it out of 10, I was doing 9.5. Then I watched it again. I'm like 9. I have a feeling that if I watch it again, I'm going to keep chopping off parts of TARDISes because I'll start noticing the things that we've been talking about, but. Because it keeps ending on that high note and that the second half is just, yes, it's fan servicey. Yes, it has, it makes me happy and I get excited and I'm happy and it's off and I'm in a good mood. So I'll be good right at 4.5 right now.
Okay. Wow. Mary.
I feel like I have to give 2 different answers here because it depends on whether I grade on a curve.
Mine's on a curve. It's Chibnall curve.
Or, if I'm
it's always a Chibnall curve. Come on.
I mean, if it's all of Doctor Who, maybe just barely a 3. If it's Chibnall, probably a 4. Because if I compare it to all its other stories, it at least was entertaining. I was entertained, and frankly, I freely admit I loved the fan service. That, for me, was the best part of the whole thing. Seeing Tegan and Ace actually get to do something was wonderful. For that alone, for the support group alone, I give it an extra point. So, yeah.
Call the support group DA, Doctors Anonymous.
Yes. So, yeah, 3.5. I'll just split the difference.
Wow. Okay. All right. Mike Gordon.
I'm going to give this a 5.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm going to give this a 5. And even though I have so much problems with it, but there are problems with every story of Doctor Who. It's just a matter of which ones you want to focus on, whether you focus on the bad stuff or the good stuff. To me, the reuniting scenes of the companions with the Doctors, the performance of the Master in this, the fact that it's a regeneration episode, the fact that they used Ian, the fact that Graham's in it. Like, I just
Graham would make it a 10. Come on.
Now I understand the 5.
If it's a Graham scale, we have to go to, I don't even know. There's not enough numbers to rate it that high. But yeah, this is a must see. Like, if you're a Doctor Who fan, this is a must see. If you're a classic Doctor Who fan, it's a must see. If you're a new Who fan, it's a must see. I think has to go on everybody's list as far as essentials going from here on out, because it embraces a lot of the classic stuff, the things that we like about Doctor Who. And yes, there's so much that's wrong with it. But if you have to pick one episode or one story to watch of the Chibnall era, this is it.
Okay. Wow. I'm going to give this one a 2. No, just kidding. Just kidding. No, I would not do that. No, I'm going to give this one a 4.5. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to watching it again. And for me to say that about a Chibnall episode, that's something pretty big. Jodie was awesome. I'm going to miss her as the Doctor. I'm sad to see that her era is over. I want to look forward to when she starts doing Big Finish. I am looking forward to seeing whatever happens. And I do think, this will go into my top 5 of this era of Doctor Who. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great regeneration story. And I loved seeing the old companions come back. Anytime you get to see Ace, I'm happy. She's one of my favorite companions. And I thought she was done well. And, sometimes when you have, hey, and here's Ace, here's Tegan, boom, they're gone, something like that. And I was hoping that wasn't going to be the case. And we didn't get that. But did it cost us time with Dan or some of the other characters that, could have had more storyline? Maybe. But it was good to see them. And it actually, brought back some very good memories and sentimental feelings. So 4.5, I think, is a really good thing. I don't think we're, I would be fine if we don't see Yaz again or any of the other companions from this era. None of them were all that memorable. So I do want to see Joe Martin.
You missed Graham. You missed
Graham. Well, Graham's going to have his own spin-off.
You know what?
He's going to have his own series.
We didn't talk about Ryan only getting one throwaway.
One little mention. Where's Ryan? But it's interesting, though, like when they were showing a lot of the old companions who were still on Earth and in present time, there was no Martha, which was really interesting. Mm-hmm. So I was like going, because I was fully expecting to see, her sitting there also. So
that's a weird knot to try to untie.
Yeah.
at this point, as far as that character goes, as much as I love Martha, the fact that where she is or whatever, like that's
where she ended up.
Right. That's a weird knot to untie. So I always love seeing her, but
maybe she'll return when RTD brings back Torchwood.
And I did see a lot of complaints like, why didn't they bring this person back? Where was Tom Baker? Da 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 da. There's just things that they can't do because of schedules. And look, Tom's old. He's not doing anything.
They wanted Tom for this episode.
They actually tried to get Tom back.
Yeah, but Tom's too old to travel right now.
It's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. And there's a lot of stuff like, I don't think the actor who played Ryan left on the best of terms either. So that's kind of an awkward thing too. And they just can't bring back everybody. You know, I mean, we're lucky to get, this is the most we've gotten in a long time. So,
it was focused really on classic, which we haven't seen in a long time, So I'm kind of glad that they went the classic route more so than trying. I mean, it would have been neat to see classic blended with a lot of more of the new Who kind of companions, but I was thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in terms of regeneration stories, like my Doctor is Matt Smith. I adore Matt Smith. I like this regeneration story better than what Matt Smith got.
Oh, you didn't like Christmas Town? What do you mean?
No.
Not a big fan of End of Time either.
No, I think out of regeneration stories, I thought this was one of the better ones. The only other one I liked better, I think, was the Eccleston one. With the Daleks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the Bad Wolf.
I really liked Eccleston's, and I like the fact that Eccleston's and Tennant's were both about sacrifice, and that's why they regenerated. Mm-hmm. But after it's I hate that this ended up being an oops kind of thing of why she's regenerating. It wasn't because I think the sacrifice makes it just so much more poignant for the character and the hopefulness and how the Doctor really kind of serves humanity and is always trying to help. But it was a great regeneration story. Even
it's certainly a lot better than getting accidentally shot in a back alley somewhere.
Falling off something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, I'm the doctor.
I'm going to add half a star. I'm going to go to a 4. Okay.
Really? Oh, Kirby.
Because of the regeneration thing.
Suddenly he ups the ante.
He's been guiltied into it, you know.
I mean, it all depends on what curve you're using to grade.
Yes,
exactly.
This is a huge bell curve.
I choose to see the beauty in this show.
By the way, someone sent me this earlier today. I don't know when RTD said this. Had it been in the last 2 days? RTD says, if you thought the appearance of David Tennant was a shock, we've got plenty more surprises on the way. The path to Jodie's 15th Doctor is laden with mystery, horror, robots, puppets, danger, and fun. And how is it connected to the return of the wonderful Donna Noble? How? What? Why? We're giving you a year to speculate, and then all hell lets loose.
and that's one undercurrent I've been wondering, like, how Donna? How Donna?
Yeah.
Because she should be, like, blowing up from the inside, but
yep.
So much more we'll have to kind of focus and figure out. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to have a showrunner and a writer that actually is going to tie things together where we're just not going to fall into plot holes. So
as I've heard a lot of people say, like, oh, we're just going back to 10. It's not, come on, it's been done. Why are we going back to 10? Even the people who like David Tennant are kind of like, why are we going back to 10? It seems so like going backward instead of forward. But keep in mind, this has never been done before. So this is new ground. We have no idea what is in store for us and what this means and all of this. This is a new thing, and I'm excited by that.
Oh yeah, I'm totally looking forward to it.
Wait, I know these teeth. Hold on. Ooh, yeah. I know these back of the hand. What?
Is it?
What?
Is it? Yeah. I mean, you have to get the sense that it's 10 again, but how does that work? And what? Yeah. And there's so many questions there. I'm really excited and really mad that I have to wait a year.
My big comment, though, on it is he's still not ginger. So, still ginger.
I don't know that he'll ever be ginger. They want to use that joke forever.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's ever going away.
Yeah.
He'll regenerate. Awesome. It'll be someone ginger, and then he'll get shot at, and then regenerate again. And then he would be like, "I was so close."
It would be funny if, like, that would be one thing, to keep killing him over and over, the Doctor over, and just keep regenerating until we finally randomly we just stop on someone.
That was done back with the.
Yeah, that's true.
The Mr. Bean Doctor.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. But a good question. This is from, of course, Christian over at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. A good question. 10 brings it up in the next Doctor. Does every regeneration have to be defined, i.e. fell off an exercise bicycle?
Well, we've seen that it's not, sometimes it's not dignified. So, I mean, it's.
And that happens. I mean, sometimes people just die randomly.
Yeah.
Yes.
That just happens.
Yeah, or the TARDIS console explodes on you after you get fired from the show.
I didn't mind that she was killed in that manner. I just minded that it was the Master who did it.
Okay.
Is that the first time the Master's killed the Doctor?
No, Logopoulos.
And caused to regenerate? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but the moment has been planned for.
Yeah, that was planned.
I did like that.
This was kind of a spur of the moment thing.
I was getting some Encounter at Farpoint vibes with that thing leaving the planet.
Very nice callback.
You have to say that. Now that's going to live in my head.
Yep.
One thing I am kind of hopeful for is, even though that the Doctor recognizes those teeth and is like, wait, what? I'm hopeful that it's going to be the David Tennant now and not David Tennant eons ago when he was this is how he wanted to spin the Doctor. And I'm hoping that this is RTD writing a Doctor after it's a lie and everything else he's done, and we're pushing the envelope and everything, and not I'm hoping that we get to go for a ride, and that the people who think, oh, it's just going to be the same thing as before, and it's kind of no, we've got 2 people in place that are masters at their craft. Hopefully we'll see something new and exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping.
Because
the doctor's been through 3 regenerations since he was 10. So he's got more memories, more experiences.
If it's back to 10, be prepared for him to immediately try to figure out a way to bring Rose back.
Rose! Mike! Rose!
And with that, Mike Gordon is gone from the
show. For the next 15 minutes, we'll talk about Rose and all the Rose shippers out there. Just for Mike.
No. And with that, that's going to wrap up the show tonight, folks. Well, talk about a buzzkill. All right.
Is it something
Thanks, everybody, for joining us tonight. I appreciate you guys for joining us. We will be back again in 2 weeks, and we'll be back on schedule after this. And we're going to do something a little bit different, especially now since we have so much time to fill in before Doctor Who comes back. We are going to be looking at the holiday specials that they did, within the new series. So we're going to start with Runaway Bride, and because we haven't reviewed a lot of those, so we're going to definitely be taking a peek at those. And so join us on Earth Station Who. We could be found wherever fine podcasts are found. But thank you guys for joining us on the video. Sorry, Facebook folks. I know it's been spotty and people have been writing up there. I've been trying to keep up with it. But I think StreamYard and Facebook are just not friends at the moment. So we'll be trying to come back with another live episode soon. But, until then, we'll play around and see what we can do with getting everyone's comments and everything. But thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us on the video. We did have some folks up here. And you know what? It's been a ton of fun. Let's thank our panel for tonight, of course. Melanie, thank you as always for joining us on our live show.
Thank you for having me. It's always a treat to talk to everybody here.
You want to promote your stuff real quick?
You can find me on Instagram at Pieces of Melee. You can find that. I think I'm not doing any conventions until next year. So, breather.
You can chill. I can relax.
I can chill. So I can just paint for fun and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Instagram's usually the best way to find me. And for my art and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah.
Yay. That's awesome. And of course, Kirby, it's always great to see you, my friend.
It's always fun to be with you guys.
It's always great to have you, sir. And do you want to promote the 20 Megabyte?
Oh, yes. I'm one of the co-hosts on the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast, one of the most strangely named podcasts there.
At one time, it was a 20 Megabyte
yes.
podcast.
Before I even joined it, and I joined pretty early. We are still on our journey through all of Doctor Who. Next time, we are actually going off of our normal schedule. We're going to talk about this episode this coming week. But then we are going back to, we're continuing with the 11th Doctor right now, and we'll be discussing Christmas Carol next.
Oh, wow. Sweet.
That's you might be caught up by the time we get into that new episode.
Well, we're gonna be going through some of these things pretty quickly. I have a feeling that the Monk trilogy is going to be 15 minutes.
Wow! Wow! And of course, let's thank our regulars for being here. Ms. Mary Ogle, thank you as always for joining us.
No, thank you. It was really nice seeing you guys again and getting to talk our last Chibnall episode. Yay!
Yay! It is awesome. Awesome. Yep. And you want to promote your artwork?
You can find me at maryogle.com or on Etsy at eVision Arts.
Awesome. Yay. And Mr. Mike Gordon, we made it through another one. And another regeneration, sir.
We made it through another regeneration. We are regenerating. We're not regenerating at all ourselves.
No.
But that's okay. I could use it though. But as always, it's been my pleasure.
Awesome. It's great to see you guys up here. Thank you for everyone who's joined us. And we will see you guys next time here on Earth Station Who. Be safe, hug your loved ones. And you know what? Let's watch some Doctor Who and enjoy it, because we got a long time before new stuff is coming. Mm-hmm. Until then, let's do good waves. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. We'll miss you.
Bye, Chibnall.
Bye, Chibnall. We're waiting
Don't let the
Chibnall
TARDIS door catch you on the way out.
Wow.
You have been listening to Earth Station Who, a bi-weekly pop culture podcast dedicated to all things Doctor Who, featuring talents from across the universe. All topics on the show are the sole opinions of the individual and are used for entertainment value alone. You can subscribe to our podcast up on iTunes, Stitcher, or follow our blog at www.esopodcast.com. You can also follow us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. If you enjoyed the show, please leave feedback up on iTunes.
Helm, report.
Sir, there's Klingons on the starboard bow.
Starboard bow?
Starboard bow!
What are they doing there?
They seem to be waiting for the new episode of Earth Station Trek.
Science, what do we know about this Earth Station Trek?
It's a podcast that treks through the history of Star Trek, from the early days on NBC to the future on Paramount Plus and everywhere in between.
Navigation, how would one find such a podcast?
By setting coordinates for earthstationtrek.com, or by doing a sensor sweep of Spotify, iTunes, or any other quadrant where fine podcasts are available.
Captain, what are we going to do about the Klingons?
We come in peace, Commander. Weapon station, shoot to kill.
Shoot to kill!
Shoot to kill!
This has been a broadcast of the ESO Network. Be part of the crew and help support our shows by donating to our ESO Patreon or by shopping at the TeePublic store, which can all be found at www.esonetwork.com. The ESO Network, your station for all things geek.